Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I have made quite a few videos on TikTok art advice, and today I thought it would be fun to look at YouTube Shorts for a change. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
One mistake beginner artists make is making a head way too Remember big. That you should be able to fit two heads inside of your torso. And if you're like, well, I draw animated, I hate to tell you, but anime characters are based off of real life, so this rule still applies. You can see that this works with Frieren and also Mikasa. Another way to make sure that your head is the right size is by remembering that people are 6 to 7 heads tall. Now hopefully your character's heads will be around the same size, and now you have a good way to measure yourself.
This is something you tend to get told if you're in an art class of any kind, but everyone, including myself, seems to forget it. I'm always struggling with like trying to determine whether or not I drew the head too big, and I forget to do this. I don't know why. I'd say this is some really good advice. 9 out of 10.
Stop drawing faces from a lower angle like this. All of your characters will just end up having big chins. Instead, what you're gonna want to do is this. Stop drawing faces from a lower angle like this. Stop drawing faces from a lower angle like this. All of your characters will just end up having big chins. Instead, what you're gonna want to do is this. Add a triangle shape where the chin would usually go. Make your characters look way better. You're welcome.
I think everyone really struggles with this angle, and if you do what he says to do and draw like quite a thick outline there, it might still look a bit weird, or like it might look a bit strange. So what I recommend you do is that you draw that for the sketch, and then if you're doing line art, color anything that's within the body, color it in so that it's a bit of a lighter color and it doesn't look as stark. But overall, I think this is really good advice, and yeah, like an 8 out of 10.
Do if you ever get art block. I usually get burnt out or get art block when I feel like my art isn't good enough, which makes me not want to create any art at all. So whenever I feel like this, I try to create art like I'm a child. Because when I made art as a kid, I did it because it was fun, not because it had to look a certain way. So taking the opportunity to just play and not have an expectation of how it will look just makes art fun again.
That looks really fun. I think every artist understands that feeling of like, oh my god, what I'm making isn't good enough, it's not like creative enough. So doing something else can definitely really help. Let me know what you do when you have art block. I would love to hear some more suggestions. It looks really fun, but I don't know if it would make me feel better. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'd say like a 7 out of 10.
The mistake artists make when drawing the hips is not drawing the iliac crest of the pelvis. The iliac crest is the top part of the pelvis. It starts at the anterior superior iliac spine, which is basically where the front plane of the hips transitions to the side plane, and then it goes around to the back plane. The iliac crest serves as an attachment for the obliques, so this is where the waist transitions to the hips. The wider you make the iliac crest, the wider you can make the hips. To fix the mistake, we should start by deciding the tilt of the hips, which also gives us the perspective. Then we can draw the iliac crest and place everything else on.
Actually mind blown. I don't know why I've not really thought about that before. It's kind of embarrassing. Yeah. 10 out of 10. I'm going to be putting all of the @s of the creators in the description, so if you like any of these videos, please check them out. And while you're down there, you can buy me a coffee and look at my Instagram for commission info. Thank you.
Can we include this drawing submitted by Nadisa T, who says, please help me correct the color so it has more depth. I really like your style, and I'll pick a darker color for the shadows, because if you imagine a bow, using a bright shadow can leave it flat. But if you add darkness, it creates depth. And if you then add a gradient in the shadow where it's slowly getting darker, it creates even more depth. So I'm using the first shadow to separate the light from the dark, and then using a darker color, I'm adding a gradient in the shadow. I would also make the hair and the clothes darker as well, so they can match the darker shadow of the face. And if you look at the color that I'm using for the shadows, it's more saturated than the gray color in the reference. But this color is created by a blue light that's coming from the sky above, and all of the bluish clothes that are reflecting their color. So I first paint the shadows and then add this subtle blue light by pressing very lightly. And this is before and after.
Oh wow, he explains that really well. I do really like the original though. I think he improved it in terms of technically and also obviously the artist asked how they could make it have more depth, but one of my favorite artists actually does really flat colors, and I do like that style. It is just a different style, I feel like. I do think it's important for them to have a choice and to learn to do more depth, because otherwise it's just they're struggling with that. That's why they're not doing it, not that it's their style. I think he definitely accomplished what they wanted to do with that drawing. 10 out of 10.
Here's an art tip. Life will be so much easier if you think of drawing as makeup. First put on blush on the cheeks and eyes, add lipstick, put on eye contacts, then whatever this is. For the eyes, put on mascara, some eyeliner, and bottom lashes. Brighten up the inner corner. For the nose contour, start with the eyebrow, and then just curve it outwards like this. Add a shadow on the tip of the nose. Let's use concealer to brighten up the nose and mouth. Right, see the difference over here? Make the inner lips darker for a gradient effect. Damn, that looks horrifying. Anyway, add juicy highlights. And I added more lashes to make her more emo. So I finished up on the hair. Lastly, I added fake freckles, cause that's what's up. Done.
That's sick. I actually started doing exactly that, and I've started adding like an inner highlight on the corner of the eyes, and it's made my art look so much better. I guess I'm gonna have to rate it a 10 out of 10 then.
2 common mistakes: short, scratchy lines and chaotic searching lines. Usually, when done by newer artists,
I definitely do
these
that.
types of lines express to the viewer a feeling of anxiety and a lack of confidence. Some masters can use chaotic lines deliberately with confidence. But assuming you're not a master yet, pause and just think for a moment. Make sure to leave enough time between strokes to visualize the next one. We can use tapered strokes to construct complex lines using many simple lines. Trying to draw a more complicated shape in one swoop makes it harder to draw the correct shape with the correct proportions. The arm has a lot of anatomical bumps that make the shape more nuanced.
Oh my god, it's an arm. He actually did that. He actually did that really
A
well.
lot more digestible. Again, don't move your hand
That
faster
does look
than your
better,
brain
though.
can think.
That has to be a 10 out of 10. That was really good. What kind of lines are you prone to? I think I definitely over scribble. I do quite long lines, but I'm definitely faster than what my brain can comprehend.
Here are 4 tips for sketching to make your art look as good as this. First off, don't obsess over expensive art supplies. As an example, whatever this was used to make all of One Punch Man. For the next tip, when starting a new sketch, try not to choke your pencil out. To keep your sketch light, try increasing the lead length and then hold the pencil a little bit higher like this. Leading to the next tip, don't start your sketch off really dark or else this can be really hard to erase and fix. Make sure you start off light so you can easily fix mistakes. For the final tip, if you guys really want to improve, try drawing with a ballpoint pen. Since this is permanent, you will easily see all of your mistakes.
I agree with that. I think that's really good advice. I definitely keep your sketches really light, and a ballpoint pen, he doesn't mention it, but that can help you with keeping your sketches light, because if you hold a ballpoint pen a certain way and use it really lightly, you can actually sketch with it. So I think that's really good advice. I can't keep rating them 10 out of 10, but I guess I have to.
Digital art tips.
I'm gonna restart.
1. When blocking in shadows, use a multiply layer to keep the colors consistent.
I don't know. Maybe for some lighting, sure, but especially to figure out where your lighting goes, I think this is a great tip. However, you need to add a lot more reflective lighting. You need to think about how the skin reacts to light, because it reacts differently. And yeah, I think this can lead to your art looking a bit dirty, maybe?
2. When sketching, use a gray or colored background to avoid straining your eyes. 3. If you have to draw hands in or reference, just cut them off.
Like a 4 out of 10. That's no, don't do that. We've all done it, but don't.
Here's 2 art tips so your faces never look like this. When drawing portraits, think about relationships. Like here where I drew the nose first so I could figure out where to place the eyes. And those eyes allowed me to figure out where to place the mouth. And if you don't know why it looks like shit, flip your drawing to see the mistakes and digitally use liquify to smash his bones in. Sorry, traditional artists. And if your portraits still look like this, watch the video again.
I agree, but I think you should also line up your sketches to the photo. If you're going to be flipping it, digitalizing it anyway, it really helps to just line it up with the photo and see where you actually made the mistake. I think there was like a guy who was like an expert at studying things, and he did that to learn drawing, and apparently he got really good. Copy and paste in real life. Grab a piece of paper as large as you want. Take your rage out. So they're basically using paper as tracing paper. Wow. That's really fun. You can also use baking paper. Like, fun fact, it's basically the same as tracing paper. It's good practice to draw it from scratch, but if you want to save time and just copy and paste it, I'm not entirely against this. Like a 7 out of 10. It's a good idea. Well, that's everything I had for you guys today. Remember to check out the description, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.